Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me for a Roger Maris episode on the channel today. I'm going to take a look at a handful of new pickups for my Roger Maris collection. I try to be somewhat narrow in my focus when it comes to collecting Roger, and my interest is really just around the American League single season home run record in that historic 1961 campaign, and the four new never before shown cards that I'm going to reveal in today's video all have ties to that magical season and all have ties to the cards that are up in the background as well. So let's get right into it. I want to keep this relatively brief if I can. We're going to start with this card on the left. Of course, my personal favorite Roger Maris card, I know that's the case for many, the 1961 Topps issue. The card, of course, that kid collectors were pulling out of packs in the very summer that he and his teammate Mickey Mantle were chasing history and in pursuit of Babe Ruth's home run record of 60 home runs. And I love that card for all of those reasons. As I mentioned, my favorite overall Maris card, but I try to look for other ways to sort of enjoy it. I have this beautiful example of the original that I picked up maybe 2 years ago now, but I found one recently that ties nicely to that. And this is a card that I bought on ComC and then submitted for grading on my own. And let's take a look at it here from 2002 Topps Archives. This is the authentic game-used bat relic of Roger Maris. Now, obviously, the allure here, or the reason that I was drawn to this one, it features the iconic 1961 Topps card from that season, and it also features a relic or a sliver of Roger's game-used bat. And this is an early relic card, being from 2002, from a time when I think they were generally a little bit more trusted in terms of their sourcing, or however you want to put it. But I know these relic cards aren't for everyone. They're not a major part of my collection, to be honest with you. But when I saw the opportunity to pick this one up and saw how well it would kind of display and match my overall favorite Maris card, I just couldn't leave it behind, even with the grading, which was, I think, around maybe $20, $22. The grand total for this was under 50, and it's just a really fun piece. You know, Roger is not an expensive player to collect in general. He's not in the Hall of Fame, so I think a lot of people just kind of overlook him. And obviously, you know, his biggest feat was this campaign. And that brings us to the second card, which has to do with the 62 AL Home Run Leaders card that you see on the right here. Another one of my favorite cards affiliated with the home run record. Of course, you have Mickey Mantle in the lower left there, as well as Hall of Famer Harmon Killebrew, bottom center. And love that card, as well as, and for the same reason, I love the 2023 Topps AL Home Run Leaders card featuring Judge, Trout, and Yordan Alvarez. And when I had picked up this card, I thought that would be it for my Maris relics, and I didn't know that really this next card existed. When I bumped into it online, I couldn't believe it. Had to pull the trigger. In this case, this one was already graded. It's from the 2001 Topps American Pie release. And I found another Maris bat relic, also in a PSA 9, that also features one of the cards, or is based on one of the cards around the home run record. Of course, here they've taken a little bit of liberty. They've removed the other three players off the bottom of the card, sort of enlarged his head and included a Yankees logo. So this is not a direct reprint or replica of the 62 AL Home Run Leaders like the other relic card is, but, you know, it's close enough for government work. And I thought, you know, just having the pair of these would be really, really neat. These are probably the only two Roger Maris relic cards I would imagine I'll ever end up with in my collection, but they are absolutely perfect for the theme that I am going with here, and I'm honored to have them both. I love that the one that I submitted came back in a 9, and the one that I found online was already a 9. They're just beautifully paired together, and really happy to have those. And of course, both of these cards, and really all of the cards that we're looking at in today's video, will be part of my overall 62 card American League home run collection, which will also include, you know, some Aaron Judge, Babe Ruth, other players. But for today, just focusing on the Maris. And I want to talk next about the card that is in the middle there. This is from the 2024 Topps Finest release. So maybe a little over a year old now, a year and a half old. They did these Finest Timelines cards This is an insert set, and they did various parallels, and I have here the gold to 50. But the premise here, these are big moments from baseball past, and they include kind of like the radio call or broadcast call in quotes on the bottom of the card, as well as ideally, and in most cases, a photograph of the actual moment. So here we have the radio call, this could be it, way back there. Holy cow, he did it. 61 for Maris. Love that across the bottom of the card. I am a sucker for gold refractors numbered to 50, and I just think this is a cheap, cool way to kind of honor this card in my Maris collection and honor the feat in my Maris collection, looking back on it all these years later. Now, I found a version of that card last year that is really the best version you could possibly get, and I've been kind of holding this one in hiding. I wanted to unveil it today along with the other big one that's coming right after it, but I managed to acquire the Topps Chrome Superfractor 1-of-1 version of that Finest Timelines insert. The only one that exists. You can see that kind of spinning disc that exists on the Superfractors and gold vinyl from Panini. I've really got into collecting these in recent years. I have a small handful of them now, these 1-of-1s, and they're pretty addicting. They're obviously almost impossible to find. I could not believe this one surfaced, hit eBay, was at a relatively high buy it now that I think scared a lot of people off, but I was very patient, watched it for a long time, messaged back and forth with the seller, and eventually got him to a point that I was comfortable pulling the trigger. And I knew in doing so that this would become one of the most epic cards in my little collection of Roger Maris. I love that I have like old and new represented. I can appreciate the 1961 original and this almost brand new or only a year old Superfractor alongside each other in a collection that, makes sense and fits together and is very meaningful. So certainly I would say the only 1-of-1 Superfractor Roger Maris that I will likely ever own. But a great card there, and with apologies to the gold 50, we'll put the super up in the background. And under normal circumstances, that would have probably been the highlight card of this video, but I have one more that is an absolute monster. This is one that kind of came about in a really funny way. So a few episodes back, showed off a beautiful 53 Bowman color Mickey Mantle that I had acquired from my new hobby friend Corey. And looking at his other cards that he had for sale after the Mantle deal was done, there was one that was just eating at me and sticking in my mind. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I knew I needed to make a plan to try to acquire it. Made a whole bunch of sales, which I've been doing on a weekly basis, really this whole calendar year. Rolled up a bunch of money, reached out to Corey, and he gave me his best, off eBay from one friend to another price. And lo and behold, I added this magical card. It is probably my overall greatest Roger Maris card immediately. And here it is. It's one that is in a slightly different format, going to be familiar to many of you, as my good buddy Dylan has a similar version. His is a little bit nicer probably, but check this one out. Got the 1961 Topps, my favorite Maris card that we looked at the beginning of the episode. Of course, you all know it. But of course, this is a PSA DNA authenticated on-card auto. Beautiful autograph here in ballpoint pen. Just a stunner. I never thought I would own a Roger Maris autograph. To be honest, I've never even pursued one or searched for them or anything. But when I stumbled upon this in Corey's store, and knowing that I have, had this collection brewing now for really a few years, between Maris and Judge and the home run record, I just couldn't get my mind off of this. Corey is a huge Maris collector, so this was like an outcast for him, if you can believe that. But just absolutely gorgeous. Look at the ballpoint pen. Hopefully it's not going to fuzz out here, but the autograph itself is, just magical. It is in the perfect spot on the card, which I know Dylan's is in the same spot as well. But if you look over this entire card, there is one obvious white space or light area where you would want the athlete to sign, and Roger nailed it. The autograph is stunning. This is a ballpoint pen auto, and it's one of a few ballpoint pen autos that I have in my collection now. I don't really care too much or have a preference between ballpoint or a Sharpie. I know some people are very passionate in one camp or the other. I'm just grateful to have any autograph of this man that looks this good, and to have it be on this card. I would not buy just any Roger Maris auto. If this was on his 64 release, or had it even been a 58 rookie card or a 59, I probably wouldn't have been interested. But to find this on my favorite Maris card, the one that represents the record, and while it's not graded, the card itself is really presents beautifully. Corey did inform me this is a lower grade copy of this card. He sent me very detailed scans, and if I can get it in the light right, yeah, you can see there's a little surface wrinkle here in the dark part of the background, and I apologize for the glare there, just trying to help illustrate it. That would probably cause this card to grade low if it were to be submitted for a grade, but honestly, all I cared about, I have my beautiful copy of this card. All I cared about is the autograph and how incredible it is. And then aside from that, the fact that this card presents incredibly well. If I hold this in the right light, and you don't know about that little surface wrinkle, or this is a few inches away from the camera, I mean, this looks every bit as nice to me as my beautiful copy that I spent years hunting down in the background there. So yeah, I feel like I've been rambling on here, but this is a pretty big one for me. This is one of the bigger cards that I bought in recent years. Very fulfilling to be able to add this to my collection, and even more so knowing that the profits from the sales that I've been doing and all the condensing of my collection really funded this card. So it didn't actually cost me real world dollars. It cost me kind of collecting elbow grease and hard work and trips to the post office, and couldn't be happier with how that turned out. So my one and only, and probably always will be, Roger Maris autograph, capping off today's video. We had a little bit of everything, some vintage, some really rare modern stuff, relic cards, and even an autograph to close it out. And yeah, like I said during the beginning, this is kind of symbolic of really how I want to collect the players that I collect going forward. I don't want a full Maris run. I don't want the most valuable cards of his out there. I just want really meaningful, cards, a small amount of meaningful cards that fit a theme in my collection. So that's a wrap for this one. If you stuck with me through 12 plus minutes of Roger Maris talk, I truly appreciate your support. I'll be back soon, as you know. And in the meantime, I hope everybody out there is enjoying the hobby. Take care.